Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with actor Vito Trigo, star of Return to Nuke'em High Volume 1, Return to Nuke'em High Volume 2, Mr. Bricks, a heavy metal musical, and he just released at Horror Hound was Pigpen. So you are doing well, my friend, I take it?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm kind of taking a break now, the way this seems. So
So, how did you...
I'm,
Oh, good.
I'm taking a break because I'm moving to LA soon.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah, I got I was doing a play called Anatole, and that was like a being on stage for like an hour and a half, and that was like 2 week run of that, and I was like, okay, uh, some stuff came up in LA, and I was like, maybe it's time to go to LA. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just focusing on the move to LA now. So
Good. Well, I wish you the best in your move.
yeah,
So,
so
how did you get involved with what I think is probably one of your first films, Mr. Bricks, a heavy metal musical?
first official film, yeah. I co-produced it with my friend Justin Martell. We he was working at Trauma as Lloyd Kaufman's assistant, and the in-house editor Travis Campbell, who is the director of Mr. Bricks, was just he just had a script that he was just kind of just had laying there called Mr. Bricks Heavy Metal Murder Musical, and showed it to Justin, and Justin read it and he was like, "Well, we should make this," you know. And at that point in time, I was not a co-producer. I was not even an actor in the movie. He was just talking about it, and they were doing like a table read, and he needed someone to fill in, like just to kind of be there and just read a role. And it came and it was well, the movie was written for Mr. Briggs, Tim Dax. Because Tim Dax was just sending out headshots and acting reels and all this stuff and had cards, and Travis saw the stuff and kind of like built the movie around this idea of this tattooed muscle maniac, which isn't too far off from Tim. Tim is kind of that, just really nice. It doesn't kill people, you know. So, but I got involved. I did a table read, and then Travis liked me, and then got a movie, and then I just started helping Justin, and then that's how I was an actor, co-producer on the project. That's how I got involved. So, but I wasn't really anything in the initial jump. I was just kind of just supporter, and then got involved. So
Had you had a past with singing before you were in Mr. Bricks?
actually, I didn't sing. I was actually Travis Campbell's voice as mine.
Okay.
I wanted to give it a shot, but Travis wrote the music, and I think he really he's got a good voice. I wanted to give it a shot, but there are artistic decisions, you know. But it kind of fit a little bit. When you heard the actual rehearsal footage, it's like some of the songs I could hit, other songs not so much. But hey, yeah, I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to give it the good old call. But I did on set though. I did, I kind of went for it on set. So but it's better with him because he's an actual singer and musician, and I would just be, just giving it the good old college try. So it's better he did it.
And the second, what is your second official film, Return to Nuke'em High Volume 1?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how did you get involved with Return to Nuke'em High Volume 1, and what are your thoughts on Return to Nuke'em High Volume 2 being closer to release than it ever has been?
Well, between Mr. Bricks and Return to High Volume 1, I got kind of like caught up in life, so to speak. Having to pay bills and rent and everything. And I got kind of caught up in the, life, and kind of like put my acting to a little backseat a little bit. So that's how come there was a kind of a gap between Mr. Bricks and Return to High Volume 1. Trying to find, it's like I like lost my passion because of, I lost my passion for a second, and I wasn't really doing anything. So, but then my friend Justin Martell was now a producer on Return to Nuke'em High, and suggested that I come out and audition. and me being caught up and stuff, I was like, I can't do it, man. I got all this stuff. I'm busy. And then he just was like, no, come on, you have to come out. You have to audition. Just audition, And he wasn't giving me a part. He was just come and audition. He just wanted me to come and audition, And I was like, okay, I'll come. And then Chelsea Holland, who was the casting director, basically said, just either come and chit chat, improv something, or do a monologue, or whatever you feel comfortable doing. And being like a theater actor, that that's my primary base is theater. I was like, I'm going to do a monologue because me as a person, I'm bad at talking, and I don't really like bringing me into these situations so much. I want to just present the character. So I did a monologue, and then after that, they sent me the Leonardo, who at the time was Bricks. Haha. It was actually named Bricks in the original script. The lead Cretan, basically. And it was like the speech. And the speech was actually much, much different than what's in the movie. It was a lot longer. It was more Manson-like in its depiction. Like, it's like, you need to kill yourself. It was a lot more amped up, a lot more intense, And I memorized that. And I remember just being there for the callback. And everyone was doing like the scenes. And I was off in the corner because I have dyslexia. So I have a hard time reading off the page. I can't trust words on a page. So I was up in the corner memorizing this long, long thing. I was memorizing because I was like, it's kind of weird. Like I was so hesitant to get involved, but then when you throw me in the mix, I'm just like, I want to do it then. It's weird. And I memorized it, did it, and then I was told that, I got cast. I didn't get cast. They wanted me to sign. They wanted me to sign a contract and be a part of the movie for that. So the only other person that was signed at that point was going to be Stefan. And he was asked, but then like he didn't sign right away because his lawyer was looking at his favor, and I didn't have a lawyer. I just had me. And I remember Justin Martel, my buddy, was like, "So, you want to come to hell with me?" Because of the idea of making trauma movies is like you're kind of going to hell to make it because you got to go through everything, and you're kind of you're sleeping on the floors of the funeral homes, and you're all that kind of stuff. So he was like, "You want to come to hell with me?" And I was like, "Let's go to hell."
Yeah.
So that's how I got Return to Nuke'em High.
Did you think that Return to Nuke'em High would be as popular as it ended up being?
I mean, yeah. I had good feelings about it. I mean, when you're there in the moment, you're focusing on what you're doing, so you don't really think too far. I don't personally think too far ahead in that regard, because especially like with trauma, is like if something doesn't like immediately hit off, people will discover it later. So that's kind of the thing there. It's like but they had Anchor Bay from the get go, so they had all that kind of promotion would be covered there. So it was going to go into a different realm because they had someone else probably going to cover it because they're going to push the promotion. Maybe you see Anchor Bay, like, oh, Anchor Bay, I know you. You do stars in some horror movies. Oh yeah. So.
And I think this is actually by the end of this year is when Volume 2 will be finally be released. Which how long ago did you film Volume 2?
Actually, I don't think I have not filmed. The only part in Volume 2 that I filmed was the Bollywood dance.
Okay.
Actually, I've technically not filmed anything for Volume 2.
Okay.
Technically, I think. All my stuff was from the first one because it was basically they did the first one and then they extended.
Okay.
So all of my stuff was still from Volume 1, but then they kind of like added scenes and it extended it. So basically all of my stuff is still, the bulk of it is from Volume 1. Well, of the time that I went and filmed Volume 1.
Okay.
Magic of filmmaking. Boom. So like Zach's different though. Zach filmed a bunch of stuff that's in Volume 2, like Zachaminko. Sorry, people. Zachaminko, who played Zach in the movie. He has his part. He had to go and film a bunch of stuff in Volume 2. So he's got stuff that was filmed in the initial jump in Volume 1, and then stuff that's filmed in Volume 2. So if you look closely, you can see subtle differences.
And then after Return to Nuke'em High Volumes 1 and 2, you did Science Team?
Yeah.
How?
That's what?
I was going to say, how did you get involved with Science Team? I think you were starting to do that.
Science Team was Drew while Duke worked on Return to Nuke'em High in the special effects department, and apparently I was his favorite cretin. Apparently, don't quote me on that. He might change it later. And it was weird. It was weird because at the time I was just doing plays. After Return to Nuke'em High, I was just doing some short films and plays, and it was weird. Drew went to bat for me on set on a particular scene, and I remembered that, and I just remember I just sent him a random message one day, and I was like, "Hey, Drew, I hope that we get to work together because you were there for me, and I want us to work together, And he says, "Well, coincidentally, I'm auditioning for my movie Science Team." I was like, "Oh, well, cool." Look at that, fate, because he put out the messages. Because I am like oblivious to Facebook and Twitter and all these things. Really, when it comes down to it, sometimes. So like all these we're casting, we're auditioning. I didn't see them, because I got a day job and usually I'm focusing on hanging out with my nephews and my nieces and doing stuff. So I don't know. I'm really bad at that stuff. I'm really bad at the internet when it comes to that stuff. So I didn't see this, and so he wanted to see a audition video. He wanted to send me the scene and wanted me to do it. And I remember I had like a hard time finding someone I could just sit down with and film it. So I was like looking for everywhere, and then my buddy Matt Mandrides, who worked at Troma, was just like I was just talking. I was like, I'm having a hard time. He was like, "We'll just come to the Troma office, after 5. We'll film it." And I was like, okay. So my audition video is actually in the office of Michael Hers and Lloyd Kaufman. It's on the DVD. It's on the internet now. The audition. It's in Lloyd. It's actually right in front of Michael's desk. The don't touch area of the office. So I did that and I sent it to him and well no actually I didn't send it to him. Aaron Hamill, who filmed the audition, he sent it and he converted and sent it. He was actually reading opposite of me in the scene, Aaron, and he was playing my girlfriend. So you have like this guy with this really people like, "Hey, you're not a man. You're not a man." I was like, he's playing my girlfriend. And I'm like, being all angry, and it's like this really deep voice going, "You're not a man." It's kind of fun. But yeah, and then Drew called me up and offered me the part, and I didn't realize that it was the lead role. I just thought it was like a part in the movie, and it's like, and he sent me the entire script, and that's when I was like, "Oh, chips on every page." Okay. And like we're filming in 3 weeks. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I told work I was leaving. They were cool with it. They gave me the time off. And I felt like an MMA fighter who got called up like 3 weeks before a fight. We've kind of sitting on the couch, kind of like enjoying life a little bit, and then all of a sudden, like, "Hey, you got to fight." I was like, "Oh, wow, crap! I gotta get into it," Especially given everything that I had to do in Science Team, because it's this angry little man who comes home to an alien intruding on his household, and then having to deal with this government agency called Science Team and their pink little suits ruining his life.
Now, has Science Team been released on DVD or is it a web-only thing?
It's on DVD. You can get it on Amazon or the website. You know, but yeah, it's there. But that's ScienceTeam.com or just Amazon type Science Team. Boom, there it is.
All right.
For like digital download and regular DVD download. But yeah, that was a good endurance trial of a movie.
All right. And then after that, I think you did the short with Zach, where you guys were wrestlers, didn't you?
Oh, RumbleCon.
RumbleCon, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you guys
RumbleCon, yeah.
how did you guys get involved or come up with that idea?
It was Seeger Harrison Dixon was the director of RumbleCon and director and writer, and it came from like because we all love wrestling. Seeger Harrison Dixon was the art director on Return to Nuke'em High, and you know we all love wrestling, and it became like a weird thing of like wanting the kind of like real life tag team that is me and Zach Aminko, so to speak. You know, because we're best friends, and we're kind of a real tag team in real life. You know, and we did like a short scene in a movie that Mr. Dixon did called Gun Dick. You know, and we played cops, and like it was kind of like you because certain aspects of Return to Nuke'em haven't put out yet, where you actually see like us as a collective unit. But you see us on film, and we work wonderful together. You know, our friendship comes on screen. It's there. You can see it. You know, and so he was just like, he wanted to do something, and I remember like saying, like, well, just film us do a wrestling match. Like, let's just do a boiler room brawl or something. And then like the idea became, you know, he started sitting with it and doing something. He was like, well, maybe you guys can be detectives, and maybe you guys, and then it became, you know, the idea just came from like him just kind of Seeger just kind of sitting there with it for a while. I was like, these two guys at a convention, you know, and you know, it kind of grew from there. And then we had rehearsals, and things got extended, you know, and you know, so it came from love of wrestling. It came from friendship, love of wrestling, and just kind of just all hanging out, improvising, doing still things, and just coming up with ideas. So
Now, if I remember correctly, didn't Zach break one of his ribs on that when the guy splashed him on the floor?
well, he didn't break his ribs. He didn't.
Okay.
He felt like he broke his ribs. He didn't break his ribs.
Because that was good.
No, I'm saying he didn't break. He thought he broke his ribs. He didn't break his ribs.
That was painful to watch. Probably painful to take too.
That was Sammy Black. Sammy Black, who's a great professional wrestler. He's a great professional wrestler because he's a great wrestler, and he's also a great big man wrestler. Things that he can do for his size is incredible. He can do moonsaults. You know, he's very agile for a big man. You know, it's one of the amazing aspects of professional wrestling that no one really takes into consideration. That these guys, that you look at them, because he's a big dude, you don't see him doing. You don't see a guy like that doing moonsaults and doing like super kicks and making it very flowy and stuff. I'm like, come on, that's some. He took care of Zach. He took care of Zach because he could have annihilated him.
Yeah.
He could have broken every rib in his body if he wanted to. You know, bam.
That's true. So, and then you did. I don't know how much can you speak about Blood Angel.
I mean, I talk a lot about Blood Angel. I mean, it was actually a senior thesis for my buddy named Justin Morales. Yeah, he just wanted to do a comic book movie. You know, he wanted to do something that was Frank Miller-esque. You know, kind of hard. You know, not so for the kids, so to speak. And he wanted to do that. He wrote it, and he wanted me to do it, and we just worked on the fight scenes a whole lot. I mean, we just worked on the fight scenes. That was my thing about it, was just making sure the fight scenes, we had rehearsals. And then we had some curveballs and casting, and so we had to like recast the fight. So it became like some curveballs, but we worked with it. Yeah. it's a good little film.
How
So
how hard is it to fight in a outfit like that?
yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I busted my hand in the big fight scene with the gang leader in the movie. I busted my hand, so and I just kept going because it was the late night shoot and it was freezing outside and everyone wanted to go home, so I didn't even bring it up. It was like a weird a miscommunication between me and Joe Zazzo, who was playing the gang leader, where it's like I was I was stunned and I was throwing like Undertaker, I'm woozy hits. Like Undertaker's woozies is like this is all like ooh, 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 ooh. I was just doing that. That was my head. I was like, I'm gonna do Undertaker. I'm woozy and I'm just throwing random hits. And for some reason at that moment, Joe threw a hook.
Ooh.
And he actually threw a hook. And my hand was just there like I was just kinda like loosey goosey and bam. With my force going into it and his force going into it, bam. And I was just there like, oh. And I remember the assistant director heard the smack. He heard the smack and the initial kind of like bust right here. So I remember my hand was so yeah. It was tough after that.
I would think so.
Yeah. It was like any issues I had with like the mask suffocating or being kind of hot or moving my impending my vision, so to speak. Because like I remember like I had Zach's in the movie too. Zach plays like a henchman who's very Joker-esque. So when you see me and him facing, it's kind of like, oh, it's like Batman faced Joker a little bit, That my vision was impaired because of the mask. That I accidentally I remember I grabbed a crowbar with him, and then he picks me up from behind, and my hand, because of like the weird that because of like my image being impaired, I nailed him with a crowbar by accident in the side. Ow. So he got nailed with the crowbar because of like me getting picked up, and like he picked me up from behind, and the crowbar was in my hand and hit him because like boom, couldn't tell that in the moment because of it was just like an idea to pick me up from behind, but because I had the crowbar. It was like having the mask, everything gets thrown off because usually you kind of sense these things out, but having the mask kind of fucked things up a little bit for me. So sorry, I cursed, but boom, I nailed him, and I remember he had to do the fight scene again. And I just nailed him good, with that crowbar. It wasn't like a nail. It was just like a accident moment of just like, oof, hitting him in the side. So, but that's what I'm saying with the mask can throw things off a little bit, So, I remember being very like, let's do it again. I want to make sure because you didn't want to hurt anybody, but it was like a weird thing where it's like, at the same time, wanting to make it look good. So it's like one of those, throwing a little caution to the wind, but so that's like I'm like, did that and you bust your hand, keep going. So.
And the final film I want to talk about is Pigpen. How did you get involved with Pigpen?
Now, Pigpen is kind of like there's all these roots to Return to Nuke'em High. These people that you meet and you develop relationships with and you develop friendships with, and then you want to work with each other again. Which is like in anything, and like even in Hollywood, it happens too. People are like, oh, I worked with this guy here. I want to work with him again. And now I didn't get the director of the movie, director and writer, Jason Koch. He worked on Return to Nuke'em High. He did The Big Monster, which we'll see in Volume 2. And I didn't really get to know him on Return to Nuke'em High. I got to know him on Science Team because he was also doing the big alien in Science Team. And we spent like a lot of downtime, chit-chatting, getting to know each other. And he saw me he wanted to cast me in Pigpen because of he was describing it to me that he there was because you saw Science Team. Science Team, mm-hmm. I'm running away from these government agents in pink suits. I'm running away from these, running away. And he wanted to work with me because every take I gave it my all. Every take, there was no like I didn't, I just went for it every take. All these like long takes of me running and doing stuff. I just went for it. And he just told me, he's like, I want to work with you, man. And you really give yourself over, and I really want to work with you. And then, a few movie ideas came up. Certain movies that would fit more of that physicality that just didn't come to fruition. But then he really wanted to make a movie, and then he like got together with a friend of his whose name escapes me, which bugs me. And they collaborated on a script and came up with Pigpen. Like I was coming down, I did Banjo in between. So it was Banjo. I went to London to film Banjo, and when I came back from Banjo, I was like a month and a half later, I was going to Maryland to work on Pigpen. Well, actually, at the time, I thought I was going for a different movie, and it became Pigpen. And he just wrote out the script, and it was just a gritty coming-of-age story. It kind of encapsulates like Baltimore in a sense. Of how it could be growing up and domestic violence and children exposed to violence and the cycle of violence. Because it's a cycle of violence. The movie's really about the cycle of violence and the cycle of just like repeating bad behavior and things. Violence begets violence. That's what it's really about. I mean, because I play the boyfriend of the young man story, who's played by Jason's son Lucas. And so I'm the boyfriend. I am the father figure for the character, so to speak. I'm the father figure in the sense that he learns from my bad behavior. He learns things from my bad behavior. In that sense, that's the way I looked at it. I was like, it's like this weird bad parenting going on. It's not a movie that's a happy movie. It's not a happy movie. It's like there's some movies that are throwbacks to 80s movies that are kind of wacky and kind of funny. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like a lot of what movies are now. There are a lot of wacky throwback movies to the 80s. Because the 80s was just kind of like a cool little time where you had movies that were kind of crazy and fun, and you could laugh and get a good time out of it. Pigpen is a throwback to like the 70s movies where you're not having a good time. It's much more of a character study. There's not going to be a happy ending. You're probably going to get depressed. You might cry. You might have like a relapse of bad things that happen to you in your life. And you better go with a friend that's going to probably console you. Or you might have to console them. Who knows? But it's one of those type of movies. Right. So. And
it's currently playing at conventions right now.
Yeah. I got nominated a few times for that one.
Did you win anything? Because I know Pigpen won an award, but I don't know if
not yet. But I've been consistently nominated though. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, okay, I didn't win, but I've been consistently nominated. So I'm like, okay, but I'm playing a bad guy. Right. I'm playing a bad guy, so it's like I'm playing a bad guy. So it's really depends.
And then really,
I don't think of him as a bad guy. If you want the actor mind, where it's like you try to justify that it's just systematic abuse and bad parenting or lack of parenting that creates these quote unquote bad people that just do terrible things. There's like nobody's born bad. Everyone's born with a good soul. But it's just that the environment and people and that create these people. It's like it all depends on where you're from. Like not saying where you're from, but like people around you, people that that have an impact on you. It's like we all have a responsibility to be good people because people create people. You're birthed from a mother, but if your mom's not around, your dad's not around, just to shield you from these other things, then like I was saying, like people that don't have parents that are shielded, that They're people you need to. They're the people you need to get the most protection, because if you don't have that good influence in your life, things might go sideways. And that's kind of the character that I presented in Pigpen, was a guy that didn't have parents growing up, probably in the foster system for a while, and just went a different path. Now some people can be put in that same position and live really good lives, and some people go the other way. But it's a crapshoot, So I was presenting a character that didn't go this way; he went that way. And it's sad, So
now going back to
yeah, sorry.
good. I was going to say going back to Banjo a little bit.
Banjo.
Did it get released and I missed it, or is it still in post production, or what's going on with it?
It's in the festival circuit now.
Okay.
It's recently like back half 2015 is in the festival circuit.
Okay.
I believe in Cincinnati it was shown, and then it was shown some places in London. Getting some reviews. So yeah, it's making the rounds now.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a trauma dance.
Nice.
It's probably gonna be a trauma dance. Blood Angel will be a trauma dance. Probably.
So so chances are these two will be on the new Trauma Dance DVD that comes out every year.
I don't know about Banjo, because Banjo's a full length.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they put full lengths on there. I know they put the short ones. I'm not sure they put the full lengths.
That's a good point. So, with you moving to LA, is that going to change your relationship with the people from Trauma since you're not in the New York area?
Not entirely. I mean, I can always fly back if something comes up, because there's always some time in between movies, so it's not really there's something that was substantial, and I'll come back. But I kind of have a lot of things going on in LA that I need to be there for.
Good.
On a personal side, Vito Trigo side. So, but I mean, like, no, I don't think. Well, let's put it this way: I'll make sure it doesn't, because they're not just people that I work with; they're my friends,
right?
They're my family.
So what projects do you have coming up, if you're allowed to talk about any of them?
I have Megafoot's always in the works. Megafoot's always there. Megafoot. Well, actually, Assassinaut. There's the one we haven't talked about.
Okay.
Assassinaut, the new Cheeseball Duke movie. That's in pre-pro. I mean, that's not pre-pro. I'm sorry, post. It's in post production. So that one I went back into the jungle with Cheeseball Duke. Yep. So that one's this. It's also a science fiction movie. Because you can't say sci-fi movie anymore, because people think it's a sci-fi movie. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not going to be on the sci-fi channel. When you say sci-fi, people think, oh, it's going to be a sci-fi movie. Like, no, it's a science fiction movie. It's a science fiction movie. Sorry,
not a sci-fi movie.
Yes, exactly. It's a science fiction movie, kind of like if Goonies, Escape from New York, and always Stanley Kubrick, got together, mushed those things together, and there you go.
Nice.
So, which is kind of like it's less funny of Drew's movies. The taint was like the penis.
Yes.
The science team was the vagina, because there's a whole lot of dicks in the taint, and there's a whole lot of vagina symbolism all throughout science team. You take those two suckers together, then you have Assassinaut, which is the story of these kids. Nice. So you have dick, vagina, child. 1 + 1 makes that. So.
Now it will it will be the greatest movie ever if the kids just get massacred, just like Beware Children at Play.
I can't say anything, Jerry.
I know.
The movie ain't out yet.
I know. I was just
You can hope for the best. I mean, you can hope for that, but I won't make any promises.
no, I know. I was just
I won't
saying.
even say it was possibly may or may not do it. I'm just saying.
So, and then you said there was I want to say Bigfoot, but that wasn't right. You were
Well, too
talking
close. Megafoot.
Megafoot.
Half Megafoot, half Cybernet, half Bigfoot, half Cyborg. You get Megafoot.
Nice.
Bigger than Foot.
Has that began shooting then, or is it
That's
still in
still
the
in
works?
pre-pro, but
Okay.
there are things on the horizon that maybe will happen.
Nice.
Fingers crossed. Can't speak too much about that, but that's always there. That's always there. And Megafoot's never gone because Megafoot, if you go on the internet, it's been talked about a little bit the last 2 years.
Right.
But Megafoot's never gone. Megafoot's always something that's gonna pop up. It's gone through many changes, many different plot ideas and everything like that. So but it's always there. And then I have another movie. I have 2 movies happening in LA.
Nice.
One called Violent Consequences by Kelly Cheeseball, who's the director of Mutantis, if you've ever seen that.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. That's happening in the summer. That's like very similar to Straw Dogs, and it's another like throwback movie that's more towards the 60s and 70s, where it's much more, the it's not a monster, it's not a creature. That's the worst. That's the worst kind of monster. It's the person being yourself, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Which the movies that I really want to get into, because that's you can kind of stick your teeth in there. And then a Hush Hush project with my buddy Jason Koch. So I can't talk about that one.
Right.
That one's a Hush Hush one, but that one, that one will combine 2 aspects of things that I like to do in film: an emotional, guttural story, but at the same time, a lot of physicality mixed in together. That's the only thing I can say about it. It's got this emotional core going on, this physicality.
Well, let me know when you can talk about those or when trailers are out, because I will gladly share them.
You got it. You got it, bud. You're a good guy, Jerry. I really like you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Do you have anything you would like to promote before I let you go?
That's it. Those are the things to promote right now. Those are Megafoot, Violent Consequences, and the Hush Hush project. I can't really talk about, but it's it's happening.
All right.
I can't think of it because usually I forget these things. But I'm not good at talking, so I always forget something. And like here, I'm like really trying to get the name and tell everyone because I'm always like, I just want chit chat,
Yeah. But, so I will say thank you for your time.
No problem, Jared.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.